High Fiber Sports AFC West Breakdown.
Welcome in, beautiful people, to another NFL Divisional Breakdown episode of High Fiber Sports. Get your fiber in. I'm Matt Kobold, Brad McDonald, and making his debut tonight, the biggest LA Chargers fan I know. I heard he once guzzled Justin Herbert down. From Indianapolis, Indiana, Kyle Jennings. Kyle, what's up, brother?
I'm doing well. I want to stop those accusations right now. Never guzzled Justin Herbert down. He's with Madison Beer right now. If you go on Sleeper, Madison Beer is his profile picture. So, hey, man. I'm out of his league, though.
You're out of his league.
I'm out of his league anyway, yeah.
I probably would have just said, yeah, I did it.
Maybe I'm not as big a fan as I thought, then.
Like I said, Kyle's the biggest LA Chargers fan I know. Kyle, tell us why you're a Chargers fan, man.
Yeah, so grew up being a Colts fan. Colts sucked too much. Second favorite team was the Chargers. First jersey was LT. Became a Chargers fan, and now I'm in it for life, man. There's ups, there's downs, but I don't think there's a better fandom than being a Chargers fan, just because the fluctuations are crazy, man. Like we go from being like, a top 5 pick to maybe, potentially going to the Super Bowl, potentially, making a playoff run. It's exciting. Keeps you young. Maybe take some years off. I don't know which one yet. I'll figure out closer towards the end of my life.
But I don't know how that's great. It sounds like someone with bipolar disorder is like, I love this shit.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. Every game is exciting. I tell people that. Every single game. You never know if you're winning. You never know if you're losing. You can play the worst team, might lose. You can play the best team, might win. It's fun.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Roller coaster.
At least that's how I cope with it,
Ask yourself what you got to, brother.
Roller coaster.
That's no
absolutely.
joke.
I think the Chargers, we might all be agreeing on the way up, boys. Brad, anything from you before we get into this AFC West breakdown?
No, well, this is number 2 in the series so far. Me and old Doug took care of the other one since Matt was preoccupied. So I'm just looking forward to rip through these guys. Let's get rocking and rolling.
Yeah, good plug there, Brad. If you want to watch the NFC West Brock Purdy Glaze Fest, then check out our YouTube, High Fiber Sports. Check it out.
It was very little Brock Purdy, actually. You'd be surprised.
Boys, looking back last year here at the AFC West, the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been the big dogs for I don't know how long. They went 15-2 last year. The AFC champs represented the AFC in the Super Bowl, but they got pounded by the Eagles 40-22 in that Super Bowl. Second place in the division last year was your Chargers there, Kyle, 11-6. But they lost by 20 at Houston in the wild card round. That's a game I had the Chargers winning. Disappointed me there, Kyle.
It was a rough one.
Third in the division last year, the Denver Broncos boys out here in the Mile High City. They went 10-7. Surprise, rookie quarterback Bo Nix. They got their ass pounded too in the first round at Buffalo, 31-7. And of course the Raiders in the basement. Little bit of sneaky talk coming about the Raiders right now, but they went 4-13 last year. Doug likes them. Vegas went 4-13 last year. Kyle, give me your thoughts quickly on how the division ended last season.
It pretty much ended exactly how I thought it was going to end. Unfortunately, I didn't think we were ready to knock off the Chiefs yet, but with Harbaugh coming in, I was excited and optimistic, and I think we performed above expectations. Like you said, with that playoff game, I was pretty upset. But it just showed some of the holes that we had, which I think they got addressed this year. Denver looked great on the rise as well. Like you said, Bo Nix looked really good. That defense is disgusting. Pat Surtain picked up old boy out of Texas, so they're looking great. And then, the Raiders are the Raiders, so.
The Raiders are the Raiders
they
indeed.
Raided hard last year.
Yeah.
Broncos definitely one of the more surprising teams last season. Brad, what's your thought on how this division played out last year?
I'm not too far off of Kyle on that one. Other than the Broncos, I didn't see that one coming with Bo Nix. That was a surprise. That was their franchise's most sacks in a single season last year.
Oh.
Yeah, they led the NFL in sacks. And so I don't think I saw that coming, but again, Jim Harbaugh, I'm a Niner fan, okay? I've seen what he does. He comes in, he resurrects programs immediately. So that's not a shock. And the Raiders raided. So, that's what happened.
Couple of Harbaugh fans here tonight. Couple of Harbaugh boys.
Who's got it better than us?
He's okay.
Fellas, on these preview pods here, these preview episodes, we're going to give you a fantasy sleeper in the division. We're going to give you a fantasy bust. And we're going to predict the final standings here at the end. I'll lead us off here, fellas, with my biggest bust of the division. Tough for me to find one here. I think this is the best division in the NFL. Okay, I'll say this is the top 3 playoff teams is a possibility again. So tough for me to find a bust. A lot of these guys are pretty accurate at their value. So I'm just pulling out the Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver room. Coeefs. Yes, we've got Jacoby Myers. He was solid last year, wide receiver 19 in fantasy. Jacoby Myers was solid. But Trey Tucker was their second receiver last year. He was wide receiver 58 in fantasy. Those were the only 2 wide receivers for the Raiders that had more than 3 receptions on the season. Only 2 wide receivers had more than 3 receptions for the Raiders. The big dog, we know, Brock Bowers, sexy young tight end out of Georgia. He's the first, second, and third target, okay? Gotta feed him. Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, get Brock Bowers the ball. Of course, Ashton Jeanty needs the ball also. I don't like the receiver room here. Did they address it? Did they address the issue in the draft? Maybe. Second rounder Jack Besh out of TCU used a 4th-round selection on Dante Thornton Jr. from Tennessee. I'm not so sure. I wasn't too high on those guys coming into the draft. And, Geno Smith, he's outside my top 20 for quarterbacks. He's a little older going to a new team, so it's not like Geno can uplift these guys. Worst team in the division, not going to score that many points. The Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver room, I'm not touching. No way in hell in fantasy this year, boys.
Wait, did Ruggs get out of jail yet? Because maybe he could help.
I don't think we're ever going to see young Henry Ruggs again.
No, I think he might be up for parole or something pretty soon, actually.
I don't think he could help that room.
Brad, any thoughts on the Raiders wide receiver room, and give us your biggest bust in this division?
This one was actually hard. I'm with you, like talking about busts. I was torn between a couple of guys. And I think Rashee Rice, when he comes back, I know he's probably going to drop lower anyway, but when he comes back, I think other guys are going to surpass them. I think the Chiefs are so confident in their wide receiver room that they just traded Sky Moore to the 49ers. So they must have an excess of wide receivers. So even with Rashee Rice possibly being out 8 to 9 games with his suspension, clearly they're confident. So I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't draft him.
Good call out there, Brad. I'm not sure the pecking order there for the Chiefs for Patty Mahomes. Kelsey, he's slowing down. You got Xavier Worthy was a first-round selection last year. Rashee Rice was good in those 3-4 games that he played last season.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure the pecking order. It's a little confusing to me. I might be with you there, Brad. I might be not touching Rashee Rice. Kyle, any thoughts on those wide receiver rooms, and give us your biggest bust in the AFC West?
Yeah, no, I actually kind of like Rashee Rice at his price. Just because I don't know if his suspension is going to be as I don't know if his suspension is going to be as long as everybody thinks. The NFL is just notoriously not hard on people in general, especially star players on star teams. I mean, they already put his hearing after their 4 biggest games of the season, so that if they want him for those games, he can have it. So I just don't think it's going to be as big of a suspension. But my biggest bust for this division, and I agree with you guys, it was also hard for me, and I was surprised when I came to the conclusion, but my biggest bust is RJ Harvey. At where his ADP is going. They brought in J.K. Dobbins, former Charger, former Raven.
Your boy.
And I just, you've been hearing from camp that J.K.'s running with the ones. Now, he is injury prone, and he may get hurt. But if J.K. Dobbins plays 12 games, I don't think where people are drafting R.J. Harvey, they're going to be getting the value that they think they're going to get. Sean Payton's an old school coach. Typically, those guys do not relying super heavily on rookies. Now, next year, I like R.J. Harvey as a prospect, but for this year fantasy, I just don't think he's going to be the value of where people are drafting him at.
Kyle, I'm glad you went last there because my biggest sleeper in the AFC
Good
West
timing.
is going to be the rookie running back for the Denver Broncos, RJ Harvey, baby. Running back 26 right now off the board on ESPN. That's late ninth round. Late ninth round, RB 26. That's not terrible. That's not terrible, Kyle. Who is RJ Harvey? He was the 60th overall pick in the second round this year. 4 years at UCF. He was the 5th running back off the board. 2 years ago at UCF, he had over 1,400 rushing yards and 16 tutties on the ground. Last season was even better. Almost 1,600 rushing yards and 22 tutties on the ground at 6.8 yards per carry. Those 22 rushing touchdowns and 6.8 yards per carry both led the Big 12. He's got some pop here, boys. Kyle, you bring up J.K. Dobbins. Looked young, looked spry last season in the first month for your Chargers. But Damon, like you said, he's injury prone. 5-year career for J.K. Dobbins. He's played in 30
ACLs.
He's played in 37 games and missed 47. He's missed 10 more games than he's played in over 5 seasons, boys. He's getting hurt. Ain't no doubt about it. Sean Payton, like you said, he likes the committee. You got to get the pass catcher in the committee. I think that's going to be R.J. Harvey. You know, Sean Payton, he passed on big names there in the first round. Omarion Hampton, Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson were all available for the Broncos' first-round pick. He wanted R.J. Harvey. He's going to use him. Kyle, you and I, we're going to have a brew bet on R.J. Harvey this season. Right. We're going to have to find out where to put him. R.J. Harvey between you and me, baby. Brad, what's your thoughts on R.J. Harvey? And give us your biggest sleeper here.
I'm kind of with you, actually, Matt.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Sean Payton, like I said, old school, like, fucking run the rock. He's still got a second-year quarterback, so I think they're going to try and do that a little bit more. A lot of people don't realize how good the rushing attack was in New Orleans there for the longest time, just because Drew Brees also passed for a bunch of yards. But the rushing game was on point. So I could definitely see that.
Ninth round pick, R.J. Harvey.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it in ninth round.
Flexworthy.
Sure. Yeah,
Flexworthy.
Yeah. For me, like a sleeper here, I like Quentin Johnston, third-year receiver out of TCU. Yeah. I liked him in college. He's got the dropsies, but if he works on that body, that size, Herbert.
First rounder.
Yeah, he's still a first rounder, and he's gotten better. He was a bust his first year. I was like, oh shit, and then last year, oh, okay. And so if he takes another step, I'd take a flyer on him, like a few rounds early for sure, because I see the potential and giant wide receivers with a quarterback that has a howitzer for a shoulder. Like, all he has to do is throw the ball up the air. If the fucker can catch it, well then Bob's your uncle's a touchdown. All right, it's not that hard. Yeah, let's go. Throw the ball up in the air, big guy grabs it before little guy does. Science, math, whatever.
Cal, give us your thoughts on Quentin Johnston there. He's been with you guys for a couple of years, 2-3 years maybe?
Yeah.
Year, right?
He's going into his third.
Yeah.
Great guy. I want to lead with that. That's never a good thing when you're talking about a football player, if you want to lead with being a great guy.
Yeah.
The primary job of a receiver is to catch the ball. Like you said, Brad, I don't know if you saw, you probably did it. It's preseason. This preseason, starters played. Herbert throws about 40-yard fade route to Quentin Johnston, whole shot, hits him off his arms, bounces up. He then has to stretch out to get it, gets laid out by the safety, got a concussion.
Yeah,
because he can't catch. So I just don't like. I want to believe in him.
That one.
He's got all the physical ability in the world, but like, except for the most important thing that the receiver needs. So I don't know. I'm still rooting for him. Like, he's a Charger. He's a great guy, but I don't know. I can't get behind it. I wish.
Well, and I'm not saying like high draft pick by any means, but I mean value wise, I think he's probably, if he, again, trajectory. That's all I'm looking at.
Yeah,
better than rookie year, and then I don't know.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, and I mean, his last year, you're right, was good. Fantasy wise, he had a lot of touchdowns, high touchdown volume. I don't know. I think with the receivers we drafted this year, Trey Harris, Keandre Lambert-Smith, They've both been showing out in training camp, not having drop issues. I think he just falls down the depth chart. We brought Keenan Allen back. I just don't know if he's going to get the targets that he was getting last year because our receiver room's so much better.
That's fair.
So that's my biggest reason. For my sleeper, I also went with a wide receiver, but I went with the wide receiver on the Denver Broncos, Cortland Sutton. I think that I think he's always been underrated, but I think specifically year two, Sean Payton's offense, Bo Nix has to have a go-to guy. Cortland Sutton is that guy. They said they brought in Troy Franklin to do that, and I think maybe potentially in the future that's something that could happen. But I think right now that Cortland Sutton is that guy. You mentioned having R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, and while I don't think R.J. Harvey is going to be worth his value, I do agree that their rushing attack is going to be good. It's going to open up a lot of play-action shots, go balls for Cortland Sutton, jump balls that he's going to go up and go get. So I like drafting him where you can get him, and I'm trying to get a lot of Cortland Sutton on my team right now. I just think he's going to have a lot of upside for where he's getting drafted.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton, boys, 18 receiving touchdowns over the last 2 seasons. That's a lot. That's pretty solid. Quentin Johnston, he's going for free on ESPN. Brad, if you want him, he's free. Yeah. I'm kind of leaning with Kyle on that one though. You got Ladd McConkey, you got Keenan back, who has a great relationship with Herbert. So I think Quentin Johnston, he's going to have to get a lot of tutties to be relevant. Going to have to get a lot of tutties.
You know me, man. I like to say crazy shit.
Finishing up this AFC West divisional breakdown episode of High Fiber Sports, we're going to give you our final standings predictions, boys. Now, like we started off this episode talking the Chiefs, the big dogs. They've been reigning. They've been mauling this division for a while. They've won 9 straight divisions, the Kansas City Chiefs. The NFL record, boys, is New England with 11 straight. So 2 off a tie in New England for the NFL record. The Chiefs have lost 1 divisional game on the road with Patty as the starter. They're 33-5 overall in the division with Patty. 33-5 overall in the division with Patty. Since Patty became the starter in 2018, the Chiefs have played in every AFC title game in 5 out of 6 Super Bowls. Brad, throwing it to you here first. Give us your standings predictions. Is this the year, finally, that Andy Reid, Patty, Kelsey, and the boys, they go down?
So you said it was 9 straight for Kansas City, 11 to meet to tie the Patriots. Well, sorry, Kansas City, you've only got 1 year left because you're going to do it again.
Ooh.
Yeah. I honestly think they improved their offensive line, which is their Achilles heel last year. And as I mentioned before, they're trading wide receivers, so they don't think they're weak there. So if they have that kind of confidence, Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. And they got dogs there, man. Xavier Worthy, like, if he learns to be a real wide receiver and not just a fast guy, he's Tyreek Hill. I mean, Jesus, man. Like, that's an Olympic-level athlete. So, no. I think the Chargers are neck and neck, honestly. I'm going them because I, again, believe in Jim Harbaugh. I really do. And if the Chiefs don't win, it's definitely the Chargers. But the Broncos, I mean, Sean Payton's good at stuff, okay? Like, damn, he just right away just flips that shit around. And what he's done with Bo Nix, and you know my feelings about quarterbacks that have played a bunch of college ball, okay? They tend to adapt well, and Bo Nix was a star coming out of high school, too. So it's not like he was, like, some flash in the pan that just turned out his last year by transferring schools. He's always thought to be a talent. So I go them. Then, obviously, the Raiders, because they Raider every year. I believe in them more because Pete Carroll's there, and Jeanty, and...
Bowers.
Well, yeah, Brock Bowers. And, yeah, those parts are good. Geno's good enough to get the ball out there, but like you said, the receiving core shit. So, I don't think they score enough points But maybe some stuff happens before the year. I do believe there'll be a more cohesive, better team, and they'll be competitive. This division's going to be freaking tough. I wouldn't be surprised if the winner's 10-7.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be a beatdown.
So, Brad, you're going Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders, just
Literally
like
the
it finished last
same
season.
last season. Yeah.
Kyle, you going to switch it up or follow Brad there?
No, I'm actually going to switch it up, and this makes me very sad as a Chargers fan. I actually just want to cover this up, but I'm actually going to go Broncos winning the division.
That's hot take. That's a hot take.
Like
That
you
Chargers
guys,
hat.
like Brad mentioned, I mean, this division is extremely competitive. I mean, the coaches in this division alone, there's 4 potential Hall of Fame coaches in this division. It's going to be a battle, and I don't think that's something that like the Chiefs are really used to. You go back to that Patriots dynasty. I mean, they were walking all over the AFC East, and that was one of the reasons they were able to have that dynasty because their division was so weak. Well, now our division is really strong.
Whoa,
That was their
New
division.
England. New
Yeah,
England.
it
That was their
was.
division. Yeah.
It was horrible. But this division's so strong now. I think the Broncos. I think they beat the Chiefs both times. I mentioned that defense at the beginning. They've got the horses to run with those receivers. They've got the pass rush to get to Patrick Mahomes. And if you watch games where he's getting pressured, it's a different game. It's different Patrick Mahomes if you're able to get to him quick enough. I think they do it. Next, I have the Chiefs. I still think they're still the Chiefs. They're not going to be bad. They're going to stay consistently good. And that's really all I have to say about that. Like you said, they addressed the line. They got a tackle. They're good. I hate talking about it, but they're good. And then after that, I have the Chargers. My decision to move the Chargers down so much is because of the Rashawn Slater injury. That's a top 5 tackle in the league that completely changes the dynamics of everything that we do. We thought that the strongest part of our team now becomes a weak spot. Now it's a lot more on Herbert's back. Our play action game goes away. It changes so many things that I think that really hurt us for this year. Now next year, I'll put him back on top again when he's healthy. But as for now, I think we finished 3rd. I still think we're fringe playoff team, but could see 3 in the playoffs again, but we'll be right there. And then, like you said, Brad, Raiders are going to Raiders, so they're in the basement. They got Bowers, they got Jeanty. I like what they're doing with Pete Carroll and Gino, but it's a tough division, and I don't think they're there yet.
So, Kyle, you're going Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders.
Yeah.
Wearing that Chargers hat, putting the Broncos on top. I'm wearing a Broncos shirt, and I'm putting the Chargers on top, baby.
Yeah.
All 3 of us got a different order here. I'm going Justin Herbert. Boys, I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Omari and Hampton. I'm drooling about Omari and Hampton. I want him in fantasy. You heard me right now. Jim Harbaugh, another year with Herbert. Herbert's a possible sleeper here, boys. Herbert's a possible sleeper. He could have another top 5 season. I like the Chargers winning this division, finally knocking off the Chiefs. And, boys, second place, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to say it. But Sean Payton, Bo Nix, they got something cooking. I'm going Broncos 2nd, Chiefs 3rd. It doesn't feel good. It feels nasty. I feel nauseous saying it. Andy Reid, Patty. Kelsey's slowing down. You don't want Patty in fantasy. You don't want him in fantasy, but he gets it done.
I like where I'm sitting here.
So I'm taking the Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, and then, of course, the Raiders. All 3 of us have the Raiders in the basement. But can I just take a minute real quick and talk about Brock Bowers, just to talk about his rookie season real fast here, boys. Brock Bowers, as a rookie, he was the number 1 tight end in fantasy, despite only grabbing 5 touchdowns, a lot of volume. He had the same target share last year as Nico Collins, 24%. Same first read target share as Mike Evans, 28%. Same yards per route run as Justin Jefferson at 10.8%. And the same yards after the catch per reception as C.D. Lamb. Big names there. 153 targets for Brock Bowers last year. That's more than Travis Kelce has ever had in a single season. Brock Bowers, he's special. He did things as a 19-year-old freshman in the SEC that had never been done. I like Brock Bowers, Ashton Jeanty. But yeah, all three of us Raiders in the basement.
So he's like the Brock Purdy of tight ends. Got it.
Ooh, not quite,
Yeah,
Brad.
you're right. He's not as good. He's been to the Super Bowl. Purdy has. In
So
the championship game.
I'm going nauseously Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders. Boys, that's going to do us for the AFC West divisional breakdown here for High Fiber Sports. We appreciate everybody coming out. Please like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Thanks for your time. Kyle, we appreciate you coming out here, brother. Anything you got to say to the people, maybe a prediction for the Chargers, what's going to happen here this season?
I'm going to predict that Justin Herbert throws for 4,500 yards plus and 30-plus touchdowns. I think he has a bounce-back year. He had a really efficient year last year. He was over 4,000, but I think he only threw for like 21 touchdowns. Really low touchdown season. I think they let him rip. Like I said, it's going to be on his shoulders with that injury to Rashawn Slater. It's going to take away some of our dynastism that we had, so it's really going to be on him. So I think he has a good bounce-back year here.
Nice. I'm with you too. Kyle. I like the Chargers in this division. Brad, anything else on the AFC West? And take us home, brother.
Not much on the AFC West, but I got a prediction for the next pod. Matt will have a T-shirt of whatever team is within that division and pretend like it's his again. Titans, man.
And not pick him to win.